super sweet.
And let me know if you see an area where you want to do the interview, like if you want to use his set, or if you want to, I'll show you a couple of our podcast shows too.
A couple of options. This is so nice.
I have the two different ways. Let's say, hey, what need to go pick up the
Man of the hour.
Music studio is.
Sweet. Wow. Well, you know I'm a singer-songwriter. This is my little space.
Hey,
Oh,
okay.
yes.
So you already know what it is.
This is sweet.
You need studio.
I'm be hitting y'all up.
And then back here, this is the photography area. I'm a photographer as well, so this is where I shoot. Studio shoots. Also at this area out too. Music studios, music videos. And this is our pink podcast room.
Y'all got like the whole news station situation going on. This is amazing. Camera set up. I see myself over there. Okay. This is sweet.
This used to be his main podcast show. This is another space that we rent. A little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
This one is this is our blue podcast room. For more little intimate
Yeah.
podcasts.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. All the way together though.
It's so big. You wouldn't think it
But
was
this is like our
big.
gym studio. This is gonna be a gym area that people come in if they want their fitness trainers or something like that.
Okay.
And then back there is our Positive American Youth warehouse. They're nonprofit.
And this is just like him over the years with all the events and everything.
Yep. And all of this is powered by the nonprofit Positive American Youth.
Oh, so y'all 501c3. Okay.
What's up, everybody? This is Unique'AngEL Nelson. I am live in the building representing Fame Live Magazine. We got something special for y'all today, okay? We here in studio live session with the man of the hour, Mr. Reec of Reec Radio. So I want y'all to sit back. I want y'all to listen. He's usually the interviewer, but he's going to be interviewed today. And I've got some excellent questions for him. We're going to learn about his history and just kind of dive in. So let's go. Mr. Reec, how are you this morning?
I'm good. This different. I'm on the other side today.
Right. So I want to start off by asking you a little bit about your history. I know that you're doing your own thing right now independently, but I've heard so much about all of your other projects. I got a tour of the facility. You've got an amazing setup here. So just guide me through your work history, your talents, what brought you to this point.
Well, as my brother Reec Islam would say, that's a pregnant question.
Uh-huh.
We can go down a
Go ahead
few
and birth
different.
it.
Right, let's go. So, if we're speaking, particularly directly about the radio side, I started officially doing FM radio in 2013, right? And it was with Radio 1. I was doing some split shifts and swing shifts and things of that nature, weekend shifts that kind of elevated quickly. 2016, I kind of left and came back a couple times, but 2016 is where I got my first contract job. And I was with Hot 107.9. I was a midday personality. We were able to do some amazing things, break some amazing records. Our whole team, we were kind of killing it, you know what I mean? Had a great time doing that, but always did independent things as well. So along with the media, always intertwined our give back situation, which is Positive American Youth. And that's our nonprofit organization. Me and my dad and my family, you know, we use that to kind of help the youth grow through positive and productive programs and events, right? So we would take those events, I'll host those events as a personality, talk about them on the radio, promote them on the radio, have people from the community come in, and that was kind of my niche. Like, with radio, you gotta have a niche. You're gonna be the person to do the entertainment news. You're gonna be the gossip person. You know what I mean? Everybody can't be blessed with looks like you. So I gotta be creative. You know what I mean? So with that, I had to go and get into our bag as far as being a community guy. So you know, and it wasn't just our events. We do things for the city of Atlanta, the government, for the DNC, Democratic National Convention, for the Vote Now. Voter registration, just stuff I would like to dive into. And then I started working with different artists, doing they get backs, like done stuff with Tips, Team, and T.I., Yo Gotti with turkey giveaways, just a bunch of different people, you know. And then we would have our events too, and the artists would come, and that kind of merged the hip hop culture along with the community culture, and that's what I always wanted to be. I always wanted to grow myself as an entertainer, right, and build a platform on a base of giving, and that's kind of where the two kind of merged, if you.
Okay. Now, the big question, you mentioned nonprofit. Mm-hmm. For those of you all that don't understand, that's a 501c3. Can you explain a little bit about how you got knowledge to start working with that? Because y'all don't know, or if y'all do, you get government funding, there's kickbacks, there's benefits. How did you learn about that?
So an accountant told me about the 501c3 end of it, but since 97, I was young. My dad was like, hey, y'all got to do something. We just run around the neighborhood playing basketball, you know, kids, being kids, right? And he was like, y'all got to do something. So business-wise, we came up with the name Positive American Youth, me and a cousin of mine and a couple people in the neighborhood. And this was in New Jersey. And we developed that then. We did some events and stuff then. Fast forward, when I was here playing ball, basketball scholarship, right? Saw some kids messing around in the gym. I'm like, hey, y'all need to do this and that. So the director was like, well, what's your organization? So I was like, Positive American Youth, right? So we did it that way, and it was able to help kids in the gym and do some things. And then that grew from about 8 to 15 kids until now we feeding anywhere from 1,100 to 2,000 families, you know what I mean, at a pop, 50,000 pounds of food a month, just a bunch of different stuff. But to answer your question, it was an account we wanted to do our first annual celebrity basketball game, right, on the Positive American Youth. So we were running around trying to get sponsors. We got introduced to a guy named Mitch Martin, who's on our board. And Mr. Martin was like, well, if I donate you some money, what am I going to get? We like, well, we'll promote it. He was like, nah, you need to be able to give people a write-off. You need a 501c3. Right? So he's an accountant. Of course, he could have did the paperwork. But he was like, you do it. If you do it, you'll never lose it. Right? And this was back in 2008, and we still have it. So,
that's the thing. Knowledge is power. We have to learn how to grow our businesses and our brands, representing ourselves. So that's important. My next question to you is radio a natural talent for you, or is this something that you received education for? Did you go to school for it?
I did and I didn't.
Okay.
So I've always talked. Right. Since I was young, they say I was little, walking around the stores, I just talking to people and people would listen. And that's the difference. Some people talk and they just talk. And some people just say things sometimes and people tend to listen. And somebody told me that, he was like, hey, you gotta be careful what you say because people are listening. And I started like paying attention. I be in class, I say something, everybody laugh. I go in the lunchroom, I start talking, people just start listening, right? So I had to start paying attention to that. So I guess that's the talent, that's the natural part. But you got to grow it, you got to figure it out. So I'm always trying to grow in the media field, doing research. Oh, this person's a good interviewer. Why? This person's been in the game for X amount of years. How? You know, what's the latest equipment? What can I use to record this? I like to know all of that stuff. So I did go to school. I wasn't particularly for media, but I did get the school I was at to open up the radio station again. It was defunct. And that's because at the time I was doing music and I had friends doing music. And, you know, we want to play our music. So I had to get to figure that out. So broadcasting has been a dream, I guess, of mine, and an active dream of mine since I started. I thought I was going to be like a sports broadcaster or something, or a coach because I played ball. So, you know, that was the passion. But, man, it's like you have these things that you like to do. and I try to make it a business kind of. So it's like, okay, I play ball, let me get a scholarship. Am I gonna go pro? I start growing. That's probably not gonna be the case. So how can I still be in this world that I love, and be able to do it and make it make sense? So it's like, okay, am I gonna play ball? Now I could talk about it, right? I like music, I can do music, but I don't want to compete with some of the rapper problems as we see in today's culture, right? But I could be the person that brings them out on stage or interview them and talk about them, talk to them, you know what I mean, and bring a different light. So that's kind of how I
your hand in multiple different pots, but you're multi-talented and then multifaceted. So it's amazing to hear that you're using all of that to build that platform. So I got a tour through the studio by your publicist, and I mean, it is amazing. So what does it take to build something like this? I mean, did you save from working in the radio and the FM radio and just use what you made to build this? Like, how do you work that?
I mean, you called it. Shout out to AB, the publicist. But yeah, it's a combination of things. So this is Media Campus West. You're here now. But this was a dream to help others do it, because at Hot 107.9 on Radio 1, I couldn't bring anybody in there to do their own show. Even if they wanted to pay, it's not possible, right? But there's so many people out there with media dreams. Like, they want to be the next Wendy Williams or the next Charlamagne or whoever, right? Howard Stern even. But how do you get there? You need that experience. And not everybody's going to sit down and take the time to show you. Like, I had some wonderful people say in this game to say, like, Sideman, rest in peace, Carol Blackman, Miss Shanika, Empress Cersei, Maria Moore, people that actually asked me, hey, you can come in the studio, even Reec, Smiley, right? Come in the studio and you can watch and do this. And I had a lot more people on the list that weren't as open-armed about it because it's a competitive industry, right? I never looked at it like that, even as a ball player, high level. If somebody new came in, I'm like, hey, work out with me. Let's work this. This is how you do this, because I figure iron sharpens iron. You can't take something away from me that's mine. You know what I mean? The only thing I could do is give it away by not putting my work in. So I looked at it, this place is that same mindset. Hey, we have a facility here. You make your own investment. You know, you can get your studio time. We're going to be right here with you. We can help you produce a show. We can show you radio tactics and techniques. I can't tell you how to be a personality, but I get to give you the format of this is how a show should go. And then we do a lot of studying. Comes down to podcasts. We call it Talkcast here, but just different things. We want to have people, give people a platform to be able to live out their dream, right? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Can't take none of this stuff with us, especially not knowledge. So
that's right. And that crabs in a barrel mentality is what kills us. Like, you can't be afraid to share with the next person. And it's not always about a big competition. So we gotta get a handle on that. With that being said, I want to kind of dive into how you network your show. How do you find your artists? Atlanta is so full of talent, professionals, you know, all kind of things. And I was looking at your Instagram, kind of going through. I saw that it's not just music artists. You have business professionals. Yes. You have the podcast, you know, conversation-wise. How do you pick the talent? How do you go through and say, okay, I want you to be on my show? Like, what is that process for you?
So to answer your question about how do we find the talent, luckily they find us. For the most part, people we've been doing a great job of getting those videos out there. Social media team is amazing, you know. So people are coming at us, which is great, right? But how we pick and choose is we want to tell stories that need to be heard. Okay, so you're interviewing now for a magazine. We want to talk to you because people want to know how to get into a magazine, and also people want to know, how did you get into interviewing? How did you get to live in your passion? We have politicians come up here because some people don't know that your state representative is the person right next to the person signing the bill for rights to life, abortion rights, all of those things, the marijuana laws, all of that stuff that needs to be talked about, right? We want to talk to those people. And we bring artists in too, because that's the hook a lot of times. Yeah. They want to know what this artist has to say or what this comedian is doing, because that's what they like, that's who they're attached to. But then right after that, we might slide in an interview with a person that got a Fortune 500 company, or, you know, so, right, exactly. So we want to have all those conversations, from how to fix credit to how to become a stand-up comedian, to how a person that's the casting director. Like, we want to talk about it all, because it really all affects one another.
Yes, that's right. Speaking of the fact that you mentioned you're into music, you've been an artist, you work with other artists. How do you feel about the way the industry is right now? I mean, we know that the music machine, the music industry machine, is what ran things back in the day, and you had no other tunnel to navigate but that one. But now we've got, social media. We have our own platforms such as YouTube. We can network ourselves. So pretty much, in my opinion, anyone can be famous, if you handle it correctly. Do you feel that we're moving towards the right direction where everyone can have control over their own destiny, or do you prefer like the old ways?
I think it's a gift and a curse.
Okay.
The gift is everybody has an access, and it's almost a level playing field.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to, like I said earlier, with this place, people can come here, learn how to do it, and then put the work in to do it. The issue I see with that is everybody thinks they're entitled to a certain amount of stardom, fame, platform, and the things that come with that aren't always positive.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to put the work in. And then sometimes it's a lot of copycat things going on, meaning that a trend may break, and then a lot of people follow that trend.
Mm-hmm.
And that might not necessarily be the right thing to do, So it's a gift and a curse. It has made a lot of people being able to be seen. Like before, I don't think we would have saw a DC Young Fly be able to break out the way that he did.
Right.
Desi Banks. These are people that I admire and see what they're doing. But then you have some of these other quote unquote viral moments, right? And they're not the most positive things. And then people are chasing likes, and then the pressure of that is affecting kids negatively. It's affecting adults negatively. It's ruining relationships. It's ruining businesses because people have shifted the way they do business, and it's not the right way to do it. And it shows it's not because I'm saying it, but the outcome.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think there's ways where the internet can become dangerous, for your mental health and things
Absolutely.
like that. So you have to really take control over that and use it to, the positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're speaking on that, because you can almost get lost in that world. We're constantly just on the phone, and you're lost in that. They call it the black box or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The TVs, they hypnotize, they put you in a trance. So you really got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, you say your grandma said don't sit too close to the TV.
Yeah,
They'll get back up from the TV, and now everybody like this all day. So it's like we need them grandmas back. Bring grandmas back.
Yeah. I can agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned level of commitment.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you and ask, your thoughts on how the next person, that is the entrepreneur, can strive for your level of success. And to me, it's difficult because not everybody got the juice.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you show the person that ain't necessarily got the juice how to still work their magic and kind of take off on their own thing?
Well, the juice is relative. Success is relative, right? So one would say, okay, we see what you're doing, you're successful, but I may want more, right? Or I may be content or happy. Content is like the devil's best friend for me. I don't like it, but it's always relative. So like per se, I wanted to be in the NBA, right? But my success being relative is I have to understand and be happy about that I'm able to interview NBA players. Mm-hmm. I've literally been on the Brooklyn Nets arena, in New Orleans at their arena, DC at their Washington, in these arenas, Atlanta Hawks at a working capacity, and next to the guys that I thought I was going to be playing against. But now I'm past the prime age to be playing, but I'm still able to work with NBA players. So like my success, I had to go, I didn't get there this way, but I'm in the building this way. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, like, take your successes, understand them, and don't get content within them, right? But also just try to stay focused on what you're doing and put the work in to stay in the game. So like I could be like, I'm hosting an event for Red Bull this week and I'm good. No, you're not, because you got to get ready for the next one. You got to keep building yourself and stay relevant within your space to keep going. You know what I mean? So I think that's would be my biggest piece of advice, I guess, to the person that's on the come up. Mm-hmm. Is just always, this is terrible English, always be learning, right?
Oh no, that's true.
And always be active.
Yeah.
Right? Because learning without action is nothing. Prayer without movement is blasphemy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be willing to keep and putting the work in. And that motivation is not, I don't believe in motivation. I just believe that the work and the action. Right? Because what's motivation? Nothing. You're not moving.
If you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And then if you're not growing, then to me you're dead. Like
that's
if you're not learning anything, it's done deal.
What's the point?
And you mentioned being past a certain age to do a certain career. But what I'm seeing is that age is not necessarily playing so much of a factor
Mhm.
into when you can become successful.
Right.
What do you think about that? Do you think that has changed, like in the fashion industry? Oh, well, once you reach your 25
Mhm.
years, then you ain't popping no more. Or,
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
I think that social media, this is one of the better things about it. Social media has ruined a lot of stereotypes,
Mhm.
which I like,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they used to say, okay, you got to be a certain age, and if you don't pop off in music by a certain age, the industry doesn't want you, right? That's not true anymore. Because I could be 90 and put out a song, and if it's hard, people don't like it. They're going to be like, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. You know what I mean? They're going to go ahead. On the age part, I was speaking about was my knees, because they ain't going to work in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? That's sorry. You're not going to get 50 points in 45. I don't care if you're Michael Jordan.
Right.
And he might get 20, but he ain't going to get 50. You know? But as far as the industry is concerned, entertainment-wise, I would say that the gate is wide open. Like we interviewed Ro. Ro's been instrumental in a lot of the country Wayne things and in the videos, and now she's doing a lot more on the active side. She may have been very active before, but I'm familiar now at this point. She's in her 50s. She like, I'm not letting anybody, corner me with ageism, And she like, I'm beautiful. I'm at this age, and I'm doing my thing, and she is.
I love that.
And I mean, we saw people before. Bernie Mac. Steve Harvey said he didn't pop off until he was in his 40s and stuff like that. So hey, man, more power to you. But internet has made it, or the visibility, right, has made it so I don't have to let the gatekeepers make the decision. The people can. So I can put my stuff out and be like, if they like me, they like me.
That's right.
Now you have to catch up.
That's right. That industry machine.
Mhm.
They're the gatekeepers. So I love this.
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about marketing and promotions of this show. I know it's not a one-man
Absolutely
show
not.
here. So tell us how you build on that. How do people get to know you? Is it just social media? Do you go out and I see your van outside with your name on it? Like, tell me about that process.
We don't just leave it just to social media. We have a great team. So I would say anybody that's trying to do this, you need a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can do with so much great or right by yourself, and then you need a team. So we got AB handling social, we got publicists, we got marketing, graphic design people, that come up with these things, and we put them out and try to handle it with grassroots because we still got to be in front of people,
Right.
as well as social media. And I would say that never forget to be on the ground because, okay, they saw you online, but it's some people that ain't online. They might not see you. They might just be on their own quote unquote algorithms, right? So we got 14 billboards right now, I believe, about the show or about positive American youth, so people can know about us. We got the van riding around. We still do flyers a lot of times, like hand in hands. And people are like, wow, y'all still doing flyers, but they can touch and hold it. We got rubber bands like these right here. We got the name on them, the Instagram, the social media. We're in schools or doing corporate events because we want people to know who we are. So it's like we're not just going to be satisfied with, okay, we're getting X amount of views or X amount of people following us. Fine, we want more because that's the name of the game, So
That's right. Now, not everybody has the sauce. We were talking about the sauce earlier. What's the secret to your sauce?
a little paprika. I don't know. I let the people speak today. I don't. In this industry, in the entertainment industry, you have to have a certain amount of confidence, and sometimes that confidence can come off as arrogance, right? Easily, right? So I try not to speak on it. Because if I do, then it's like, okay, he's arrogant. I don't want to do that. I don't want to come off like that. I hopefully people see me as a humble person, easy to talk to. I know I'm dope at what I do, right? Because why do it if I'm not? Right? I study enough. I look at enough stuff. I watch my interviews a lot to see, oh, I should have said that here. Maybe I should have moved this around. Maybe I should have asked this question. I'm not good because I'm good. I'm good because I work my ass off, right? So I'm doing that. So if I'm going to take the time to put that work in, then I'm going to acknowledge the results for myself. Now, am I going to tell people that? No, I just know what they're looking at. The product, right, is what it is, right? So that's it. But to speak on the sauce, I just think it's a God-given talent to be able to move people a certain way, to be able to carry a conversation. Because I've seen people not be able to do that, I've had some great mentors, and more so just watching them do certain things. from a distance and up close. Got some great information. My business partner, which is my pops, it sounds crazy because I always mention to him as like my friend or my partner more than my dad because our relationship is elevated to that. So, right. Having those conversations is key and instrumental too. So I steal a little bit of his sauce, that sauce, this sauce, you know what I mean? And then I put it together and make this. And I hope people do the same for me. Because I met people that do that. They say, hey, bro, I got that from you and I got this from you. You supposed to.
Yeah.
Make it yours, though. And then, keep it going.
Yeah, and he's right. The God-given talent, and then honing that and watching yourself and learning from yourself. That's not arrogance. A lot of people think, you're vain. Why you, always looking at yourself? Why you playing? No, that's how you get better. Mm-hmm. That's how you move forward. So that's excellent.
I will say this, though. When you aren't overtly confident, that could come off like arrogance. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people mistaken that and they try to take advantage of it. And that's the kind of the line I have to deal with a lot of the time with people around me. So it's like, they're like, oh, nah, Reece is cool. Okay. Still a business owner. I'm still in this. I'm still in that. I'm still in this. Right? And I know how to do this. I know how to do that, even though I may not speak on it. So sometimes familiarity brings people into a comfort zone and then they get pseudo disrespectful, right? By some of the ways and actions that they have. And it's like, no, hold on. Then I got to check it. And then I'm the bad guy. So you don't have to do that. I would love for people to just respect me as I respect you. And if I let you in on a friend level or a little bit more familiar than a business level, right? Let's just keep that same line of we're here to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries, right? You got to set boundaries. So it's a little bit of a balancing act when you're trying to be humble and still allow people grace, right? And just let you be human as well. Because that's the thing, too. Because as entertainers, you're supposed to be perfect in all aspects, and I'm human. So I might feed 1,000 kids. I might cut somebody out. You know what I'm saying? Let me be perfect. I'm not going to be perfect. I pray and I cuss. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a balancing act between knowing what you can do and because of the work you put in, and then still allow yourself to, be at a certain level of humbleness.
So let's talk about the future. What does the future hold for Reece, and what projects do you have in mind, or where do you take this?
Right. So the saying is, man makes plans and God laughs. Right. So as I said before, I thought I was going to the NBA. Now I'm interviewing NBA players. Right. So the goal is this. The goal is to always be giving. Right, so the goal is to be able to be in a position to where we can feed more people, clothe more people, teach more kids the right thing to do. When any of the initiatives that we take on that makes sense, right? So that's the goal. That's what I want to do. And if entertainment rises to a point that where we can do more of that definitely part of the vision, So hopefully, the immediate goal is to do more comedy shows. I'm doing improv comedy now. We got a show coming up. Yeah, thank you. We got a show coming up. The first show sold out with a great cast. Class Clowny, y'all look that up. We got a show coming up at the end of this month, right? And then that's one thing. I would love to host a game show. I don't know which one. I don't care if it's musical chairs live. All right, that's what I want.
Listen up.
Right, slide over. Let your boy get some. You know what I'm saying? So. Something like that, and to get back to Atlanta radio, because some things that need to be said. There's some stories that need to be told that we've been doing a great job of telling here, and now we want the city to know, because we've got some information that I think the people locally have been missing, and they need it. Yeah, they need it. So that, and just to keep going and try to cultivate as many other people around us as possible.
Now, I want to wrap things up by asking, how can our readers and our watchers and viewers support this whole movement? How can we follow you?
All right, 3-step program. First step, first and foremost, follow Positive American Youth, right? That's our nonprofit. PayUSA.org is the website. The Instagram page is PayUSA1, and everything's on there. You can see all the great stuff that we're doing for people, right? To follow us online to see all the interviews, everything. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can get everything by going to ReecRadio.com. It's ReecRadio.com. 3.5. Sorry. Follow me, of course, right? Reece Swiney, ReeCSWINEY. Reece Swiney on everything, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. It's Reece Swiney. Make it easy for you, okay? The last thing is I'm trying to teach people how to homestead because you saw eggs is $50 a gallon.
Oh my God.
Right?
Like, where are we going?
Right.
Excited right now.
Oh, that's what we're doing now is teaching people how to homestead, right? I raise chickens. So I have chickens that have eggs every day,
Okay.
right? And it started off as just a little quarantine COVID project, a couple chickens. Now I'm knee deep in the chicken game, right?
Farmer.
Right. Farmer for real, right? So we got that. We got some other stuff going along with that. I like everybody to follow that. It has some pretty viral moments on TikTok with that, and we've got some great, I guess, supporters with that, like Hen Up, Eating Pet and Pasture, Cool Grubs. We got a few different sponsors. They have sponsors. The chickens are famous. I'm just here. Okay, so follow them at Blackyard Chickens with a Z. So blackyardchickens.com, chickens with the Z.com, and you can get all the social media from there. Yeah. So we just have fun, just me being me with some chickens. We have fun, we have laughs, but we teach people how to be self-sufficient in the meantime.
The sustainability aspect of it, we do have to learn that part. We don't know where we're going, y'all.
Come on, SAT words, sustainability. Okay, then. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for sitting down with Fame Live. We look forward to just networking with y'all in the future. Maybe collaborate a little bit.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you.
Let's do it. Fame Live. We've been in here, man. Reec Radio, Reec Show Live. Appreciate y'all.
Oh, yeah. See y'all later.